Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to lead you through a flow class preparing your body for Pincha Mayurasana or forearm stand. So if you're an advanced yogi and you already have forearm stand, perfect, you'll still get something out of this practice. If forearm stand scares you, then all good. You don't actually have to come upside down, but it's just gonna be a nice strong flow for your shoulders, for your upper back, and just kind of prepping you for the mechanics of how you would come upside down. So one thing I just want to say before we start here is that in any inversion, your shoulders are really taking the place of your hips, right? So when you're standing right side up, you've got these big stable hip joints that are working to keep you grounded, to keep you balanced. And when we flip upside down, whether that's headstand or handstand or Pincha Mayurasana, our shoulders have to do the work of the hips. But here's the thing, the shoulders are not as stable as the hips. And so we have to really spend time developing the stabilizing muscles of our shoulder joints. So a lot of the work and the drills that we're gonna do today is really beneficial in building some of that strength. And that's gonna help you for any inversion that you wanna work on. And it's also just gonna help the health of your shoulders. All right, make sure you have a couple of blocks and we're gonna get started with a chest opener. So you can set your blocks up at the back of the mat like I'm doing here, and you'll come to lie down over the blocks. So if you're working with 2 blocks, the first one's underneath your shoulder blades, the second one underneath your head. If you've just got the 1 block, you might wanna just use a pillow or something to prop your head up. And I don't really mind what you do with the legs here or how you wanna begin. There are moments in practice where we get really specific about work, and then there are moments like these where it's a little more fluid. So what feels good in your body today? And if you feel like you need to move or stretch in order to get settled, go for it. And we'll take some deep breaths in and out through the nose here. And perhaps just seeing if you can make each inhale just that little bit longer, fuller, and deeper. And perhaps each time that you're exhaling, you're just letting something go, or able to soften something. We'll take another 5 deep breaths here. Go ahead and extend your legs long if they're not already. Reach your arms back behind you, hook your thumbs, and take a full body stretch as you reach from end to end. Hook your other thumb on top and again, reach, stretch. And bring your arms back down alongside you, bend your knees, and then you'll lift your torso up and remove the props out from underneath you. Come to lie down on your back and hug your knees into your chest, taking a nice big squeeze here. And continue to hug your right leg in, extend the left leg long. And then we'll take this into the twist, so drawing your right knee over to the left. A little different today, you're gonna actually take your arms out into a T position. From here, take your right hand onto your left hand, slide it across your arm, across your chest, and then reach out to the right. 2 more, right hand to left hand. Slide it along your arm, across the chest, and reach a little bit further. Last one. And this time as you reach your right arm all the way out to the right, pause and breathe here. So just adding that little bit of movement in this first twist, helping to open the upper back. And then really try to keep your right shoulder blade grounding down, shifting your right hip crease away from you. Breathe deeply into the right side of your body. Come all the way back through center. Extend your right leg long and then hug your left knee into your chest. Give it a nice big squeeze. Draw your left leg over to the right. Then tee out your arms. This time left hand to right hand. Slide it across your arm, across the chest, and reach out to the left. 2 more times, right hand to left hand. Guide it along the arm, the chest, reach a little further. Last one. This time as you reach out to the left, reach as far as you can, and then pause and breathe there. Allowing your left shoulder blade to be soft on the mat. Moving your left hip crease away from you. Breathing deeply into the left side of your body. Coming all the way back through center. Take both of your legs up towards the ceiling and just shake them out a couple of times. You might want to bend the knees, straighten the legs. This doesn't have to look like anything in particular. You don't have to follow what I'm doing. And then you'll bend your knees, this time keeping your feet lifted away from the mat. Go ahead and grab one of your blocks and you're going to place the short edge of the block flush against your right thigh. Bring your right elbow to the block and your hand is behind your head, left hand behind your head. Pause here and pull your navel down towards your spine and press your lower back into the floor. So keeping the chest lifted, you'll just extend the left leg, hover it off the mat, and then draw the left knee back to meet the right knee. So that's your move, just extending the leg and drawing it back in. If that's too much, keep the left knee bent and just tap your left heel to the floor. So the block here is just keeping you a little more honest. I'm going to continue to work your core in a slightly deeper way. Slow and steady here. Look to your navel, see if you can draw it back and down a little bit more. If you're anything like me, maybe you're starting to feel that little bit of heat come into your body. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees in, light all the way down. Take an inhale through your nose and an open mouth exhale. Changing sides. Block against the left thigh, left elbow to the block, curling up. And then we'll extend the right leg, hover it, draw the right knee back to meet the left. So just moving through that, and remember, if you need, you can keep the right knee bent. So I find this side a little more challenging. It makes sense. I know what my movement habits are and where I tend to be a little weaker. Find a rhythm of breath that works for you. Making sure that your lower back is flush to the floor the whole time. As soon as you start to arch the lower back away from the mat, you've lost the work. So be honest about where you are. If the lower back is peeling up, then you'll bend your right knee. Try to keep the shoulder blades lifting up. Keep pressing your left elbow into the block. Let's go for 5. I'm getting sweaty. Let's go for 4. Last 3,
2, and 1. And you'll release everything down. Take that block off to the side and hug your knees into your chest. Rock and roll up and down the length of your spine, or you could roll to one side, and we'll meet in a tabletop position. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Drop your belly for cow pose and then just hang out there for a moment. You might get this nice stretch through your belly. Feels pretty good in my body. So it's funny, you don't have to smash out 1,000 crunches a day to work your core. As long as you're being really mindful and smart about the work that you're doing, you can be really efficient with your time. Take another inhale here. Exhale, cat pose. Press the floor away from you. Draw the navel in. Again, inhale through cow. Exhale, cat. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Find a neutral spine. Really start to energize through your fingers. So there's this sense of like spinning your fingers out towards the edges of your mat. And then you'll spin your inner elbow creases forwards. Keep all of that. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Maybe you want to pedal out the feet. If your hamstrings are feeling tight today, try taking your feet a little wider. And dropping into your breath, into your body. Continue to work that action through your hands. So they're strong, they're energetic, no floppy fingers. Feel your forearms lifting away from the mat. And rather than sinking into the shoulders, press the floor away from you. So if you're not sure what that looks like, I'll show you here. This is me sinking into my shoulders. See, my head is coming towards the floor. And that's not where we want to be for Pincha Mayurasana. So lift the forearms up. Think of hollowing out through the underarms. Wrapping your outer arms back. 3 more breaths here. Walk your hands to your feet. Circle out through your wrists a couple of times. Maybe flick your fingers. Downward facing dog, walking back out. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Lift your right leg. Just keep your hips square here. So you're pressing your right foot towards the back. Pull up through the front ribs, and again, check back in with the shoulders. Make sure you're not dumping into those joints. Inhale, lift the right leg a little higher. Exhale, knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb, lower the back knee down. Inhale, sweep your arms up, and then you'll wrap your arms behind you. Either hold opposite elbows or interlace your fingers. Start to lift the chest up. So stretching through the front of your shoulders. They're going to do a lot of work for you today. Stretch through your chest. And then really work your lower body. So your legs should be active here, squeezing in towards one another. Maybe feeling that stretch into your left hip. Inhale, reach your arms back up, upright your torso. Hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. So again, keeping the hips square here, wrapping the outer left hip down. Press back through your left foot. Pick up your belly, hug your front ribs to your back ribs. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Step left foot to left thumb, lower the back knee down. Inhale, sweep your arms up, and then wrap your arms behind you, changing which forearm's on top or the interlace of your fingers. Begin to lift your sternum up. And if you're feeling this at all in the lower back, just back out of the depth a little.
This is a nice stretch for the front of your body, the anterior body. Inhale to reach back up, upright your torso, hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Come into high plank position, shift forwards. If you need, you can lower the knees down. What I want you to focus on here is keeping your fingers active, pressing down through the finger pads. And then again, that action of spinning your inner elbow creases forwards. Pressing the floor away from you, strong arms, strong shoulders, and then pull your sternum forwards a little bit. Navel draws back towards your spine. Breathe 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. Inhale, shift into plank position again. This time, everyone lower your knees. So your knees are a little further back than your hips. You're in modified plank rather than tabletop. And you'll bring your right hand to your left shoulder, tap it, release the hand down, left hand, right shoulder. And you're just going to continue to move like that side to side. Now, what I like about having the knees down is, again, it keeps you a little more honest. Your hips aren't swaying a ton here. If you do want to try to do this with your knees lifted, try to minimize the swaying of your hips. Hips are in line with shoulders, they're not piking, they're not sagging. And we're just using this little drill to build some strength in the front of the shoulders. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. Shift into plank pose again. Lowering your right forearm down. Lowering your left forearm down. Forearm plank. Squeeze your butt. Hips in line with shoulders. You'll bring your right hand back to the floor. Left hand, plank pose. Left forearm down. Right forearm. Pause. Breathe. Left hand, right hand. One more time each side. Right hand, or right forearm down, left forearm down. Right hand, left hand. Left forearm, right forearm. Left hand, right hand. Lower all the way to your belly. Fingertip cobras, hands wider than your mat. Press down into the tops of your feet. Inhale, curl your chest up. Try to pull your hands back towards your hips. And release. 2 more. Inhale, curl up. And release. Last one. Inhale. And release. Thumbs in line with your low ribs. Tuck your toes, lift your knees. Take an inhale. Exhale, push up, high plank. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet all the way to your hands and we'll find a ragdoll position at the top of the mat. Bend your knees, maybe sway or nod and shake your head. And just letting go of any tension that you might be holding on to. Release your arms, press into your feet. Begin to roll yourself all the way up to standing. And at the top, roll your shoulders back and down. Gather your hands into prayer and allow your eyes to close. Perhaps setting an intention for your practice here today. Inhale deeply. Open mouth, exhale. Release your arms and allow your eyes to flutter open. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Big stretch, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale to lengthen, strong legs, strong belly, step back, plank pose. So again, either with the knees lifted or lowered, we're gonna tap one shoulder and then the other. So if you have your knees off the mat, you could always place a couple of blocks on your lower back. And then if they fall off, good indication that your hips are swaying a little bit too much. Last 5,
4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your elbows, lower all the way to your belly. Thumbs in line with your low ribs. Inhale, peel your chest up, cobra pose. Release back down. 2 more. Inhale, peel up. And release. Last one, strong legs, peel up. And release. Downward facing dog, maybe adding in the push-up high plank. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, keep the hips square. So really pull your front ribs in. Again, careful not to drop into the shoulders. Then see if you can lift your right foot a little bit higher and come up onto the ball of your left foot. And can you feel the energy of this pose as the right leg lifts a little higher? Maybe you lift up a little higher on the ball of the left foot. Exhale, knee to nose, pause. Shift the weight forwards a little bit more, straighten your arms. Step right foot to right thumb, left foot to left thumb. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank pose. This time lowering left forearm down, right forearm. Left hand, right hand. Right forearm, left forearm, right hand, left hand. Left forearm, right forearm, left hand, right hand. Last time, right forearm, right hand, left hand. Bend your elbows, lower to your belly. One round, inhale, cobra, peel up. And release, downward facing dog. And lift your left leg. Keep the hips square. Think of really driving your left foot back. So you're finding this energy from your hands all the way back to your left foot. And then lift up onto the ball of your right foot. Feel your left leg lift a little higher. Keep the integrity in your core. Take another full breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, pause. Straighten your arms and step the left foot forwards, right foot forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. 2 rounds, Surya A. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga, plant the hands, float back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths here. So imagine you were squeezing a block between your forearms. And at the same time, you're lifting the forearms away from the mat. Bend your knees, inhale, look forwards, travel to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Downward facing dog, 5 deep breaths. Staying vibrant through your fingers. Feel your inner elbow creases spin forwards. Hips are lifting up and back, lengthening through your spine. Bend the knees, inhale, look forwards, travel to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Release your arms and then find your way into chair pose. So if you want to take the feet a little wider, all good. Just a regular chair pose on this round. Get a sense for how your legs are feeling, how your hips are feeling.
Last full breath in. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, lengthen.
Exhale, vinyasa.
Lift your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, pull it in, shift forwards, pause, really press the floor away from you. Step right foot to right thumb. You're gonna bring one of your blocks with you into high lunge position. So set up your legs, draw the right hip back, left hip forwards. Little bend in the back knee so that you can help lift the lower belly. And then reach the block out in front of you, squeeze it in between your hands. Feel your shoulder blades spread here, so you're protracting through the shoulders. Keeping your arms straight, begin to lift the block up towards the ceiling. Now, as you do this, if you feel your pelvis tilt or your ribs start to flare, like what's happening here in my body, then you need to back out a little bit so you can bring the arms back down. So you really want to keep corseting in through the waist. Lift out of your right hip. Squeeze the block a little bit more. Exhale, block down, take it back through a vinyasa. Lift your left leg. Knee to nose, pause. Find a cat-like spine, make space so you can step left foot to left thumb. Grab your block and come on up.
So adjust your stance first, making sure that your feet aren't on a tightrope. You want a little bit of space between them. And then squeezing the block, feel the shoulder blades spread. Start to lift your arms up any amount. Shoulder blades will lift here as you reach the arms up. That's their job. That's what they're designed to do. Keep corseting in through the waist. See if you can straighten your arms just a little bit more. Exhale, block down, step back, vinyasa.
Three breaths here in down dog. Bend the knees, inhale, look forwards, little jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, sit low, reach your arms up.
Rise to stand, Tadasana.
Chair pose, sit low. Keep the legs as they are. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Eagle wrap of your arms. So we begin by lifting the elbows up, pulling the chest back so that your spine is a little more upright. You'll take an inhale here. Exhale, round. Bring your elbows towards your knees. Two more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale. And exhale, pull the navel in. Chair pose, re-extend your arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, vinyasa. Lift the right leg. Knee to nose. Step right foot to right thumb. Grab your block again. Come on up.
Oh, so you're gonna straighten the arms, squeeze the block, reach it up as much as you can, and then if you wanna add on this round, you'll bend your elbows and bring the block back behind your head. So what will likely happen here is that your elbows will wing out. You wanna keep wrapping your biceps towards your ears, hugging the elbows in, and then continue to squeeze the block. Definitely starting to get warm. Inhale, reach the block back up. Place it off to the side. Take it back through a vinyasa.
Left leg lifts.
Need to know, step the left foot forwards. Last time with the block, grab it, lift the arms up. If you're adding on, you're bending the elbows and bringing the block back behind your head. Pull the front ribs in. Hug your biceps to your ears. Inhale, reach the block back up. Off to the side, take it through a vinyasa. 3 breaths in downward facing dog. Bend your knees, inhale, look forwards, take a little jump to the top of the mat. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, sit low, reach your arms up. This time it's a left arm underneath right, eagle wrapping the arms. Lift the chest up, lift the elbows up. On an exhale, curl, pull the elbows to your knees. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Chair pose, re-extend your arms up, press into your feet, rise to stand, Tadasana. Inhale through your nose, open mouth, exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, vinyasa. From down dog, look towards your hands and then spin your inner elbow creases forwards. Bend your elbows and start to hover them just an inch away from the mat. So I'm still in a downward facing dog shape with my lower body. My hips are up. This is your first time doing turbo dog. You might notice it's pretty strong. Allow the forearms to come all the way down. Then interlace your fingers out in front of you. You can walk your feet in a little bit more here. So at the moment, my shoulders are pretty much stacked on top of my elbows. From here, start to lean forwards, maybe tapping your chin onto your fist and then push back up. So you lean forwards, tap, push back up. And then just continue to move through that action. The whole time, I'm pressing the floor away from me. Ribs are pulling in. Notice how I'm not really getting my spine involved here. I'm not doing any funky kind of cat-cow motions. It's just all in the shoulders. We'll do another 3. Once you've come back to dolphin pose, bring your hands back onto the floor. Step your feet back a little bit. Look towards your hands and then hover your elbows, your forearms just an inch away from the mat. Think of spinning your hands out. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the arms, downward facing dog. Spin your left toes out, step your right foot up, warrior 1, come on up. So adjusting the legs as you need here, and of course if you prefer to take this as a high lunge, you can always do that. From here, you'll bend your right elbow, bringing your left hand to your right elbow for Gomukhasana arms. If you'd like, you can wrap the left arm behind you, maybe taking the full bind. If you've got a strap, you could work with that as well. Press your head back into your right arm. Keep your belly lifting. And maybe for the last 5 breaths here, you can close your eyes. Notice where your body is in space, the shape that you're creating. Release your arms. Bring your hands into prayer at heart center. Now spin onto the back heel if you haven't already, or back foot I should say, and then we're going to come into warrior three. So go nice and slow as you move into this balance. And really think of your line here. So as you press back through your left heel, you're really extending through the crown of your head. Wrap your outer left hip down and pull up through the belly. If you wish to extend your arms or maybe reach forwards, go for it. Standing splits, begin to fold over your right leg, bringing your hands to the floor or to blocks. So we so often kind of transition through this pose without much of a thought. Pull your belly in. Fold your chest over the right thigh and then work to lift your left foot up a little bit more. And then see if you can tip the weight a little further into the mid of the right foot. And as you fold a little deeper, maybe you lift the left leg a little higher. Do your best to square off through the hip. Take a huge step back, warrior two. Ground the left foot down, bring your arms up. We're gonna do this 3 times. Inhale, straighten the right leg, reach up. Exhale, rebend the right knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Last one. Warrior two, breathe. We haven't done external hip rotation, so this may not be the deepest warrior two of your life. It's all good. Straighten through the front leg. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse triangle pose. Press down through your right big toe as you reach through your right fingers, and maybe reach your left arm back as well. Nice, full right side body stretch. Half moon, look out in front of you. Right hand out to the floor, lift the left leg up. And rather than being in a rush to lift the bottom hand, I know that gets really exciting, I want you to think a little bit more of the energetics of the pose. So again, this line of extending through the crown of the head and driving that left foot back. From there, maybe you start to get so light that rather than just kind of picking the right hand up off the floor, it just floats up off the floor. Warrior two, step all the way back. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse. Hands to the floor, plank pose. Blade edge of left foot, left hand, Vashisthasana, reach your right arm up. So you're spinning your left inner elbow crease forwards. Active fingers. Squeeze your inner thighs together, your inner ankles. If you want to challenge the balance, maybe you start to lift your gaze up. You will bring your right forearm down onto the floor. Try to keep your right fingers facing forwards. Blade edge of right foot, forearm Vashisthasana, reach the left arm up. There's a tendency here for your top hip to roll back. So I want you to see if you can shift it forwards a little bit more. So that would be towards the left. Firm your bottom hip away from the floor and drive your right forearm into the mat, lifting up and out of the shoulder. Left forearm comes down. Keep your hands shoulder width distance apart. Spread your fingers, forearm plank. Pull the belly up. Squeeze your butt. Press the floor away from you. Walk your feet in dolphin pose. So my feet are probably going to come in a little bit more than most people's. I have a really long torso. So don't compare yourself to my shape or your shape to my shape. Find that action of pressing the floor away from you. So the goal is to not have your head on the floor. In fact, it's the opposite. You want to be pressing the floor away from you so much that the head is lifted.
Walk your feet back into forearm plank. Right hand down to the mat, left hand, plank pose, lower chaturanga. Spin the right toes out, step the left foot up, warrior one, come on up. So refine your stance. And then when you're ready to add the arms on, you're bending the left elbow, right hand to your left elbow, staying here, or you can wrap your right arm behind you for full Gomukhasana arms. And please, if you get any twinging or sharp shooting pain in the shoulders here, back out of it. It's not worth risking the health of your shoulders. And perhaps for the last 5 breaths, you're able to close your eyes. Flutter the eyes open again. Bring your hands into prayer at heart center, shifting onto the ball of the back foot. Warrior 3, so begin to shift forwards. Like a pendulum, your right leg lifts up as the chest starts to parallel towards the floor. Drive your right heel back. You're trying to be in control of your limbs here. And just because you can't see the back leg doesn't mean that you don't want it to be working, right? These arms and legs of ours are like levers, so we want to be able to use them. Standing splits, begin to tilt your torso forwards towards the left thigh, hands to the floor or to a block. And then lift the belly up, pull it up and back and see if you can fold a little bit deeper. Working to keep your hips as square as possible. Maybe shifting the weight out of your left heel, shifting it forwards a little bit. And again, like a lever, that right leg lifts just a little bit higher up. Step all the way back, warrior 2. We do this 3 times. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up. Exhale, rebend the front knee. 2 more, inhale. Last one. Breathing here. Straighten through the front leg. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reach up and back. Reverse triangle pose. Stay here or reach your right arm back as well. Imagine you were squeezing a block between your hands. Press down through the left big toe mound and then really reach through your left fingers. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand out in front of you. Lift your right leg. So again, try not to be in a rush to come into the full pose. This is an exploration. You can learn a lot about your body on the way. So as you stay active through that right leg, as you reach through your right fingers, maybe you just get a little lighter in the left fingers, maybe you hover your hand. Keep feeling the crown of the head pull forwards. So what are the energetics of this pose? Warrior 2, step all the way back. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse. Hands to the floor, plank pose. Blade edge of right foot, right hand, Vashisthasana, reach the left arm up. So if you need to readjust or if you need to modify in order to keep your right shoulder happy, please do so. You don't have to magically appear in the full shape. We're going to lower the left forearm down to the floor. Try to keep your fingers facing forwards. Spin onto the blade edge of the left foot. Reach your right arm up. Press the floor away from you. Forearm plank, both forearms down. Try to keep your your hands shoulder width distance apart. Either staying here or taking tiny little motions, rocking motions forwards and backwards. These are super small and it's different to what we were doing before. So now your hips are staying in line with the shoulders. You're not sinking, you're not piking. Walk your feet in dolphin pose. Shoulders stay stacked on top of your elbows. Lift the belly up, pull the ribs in. Maybe your knees are bent, that's totally fine. Walk your feet back out, forearm plank. Left hand to the floor, right hand to the floor, lower chaturanga. Inhale through a back bend, downward facing dog. Inhale through your nose, open mouth, exhale. Lift your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb. Come on up, high lunge position. So priority here is to keep these front ribs drawing in. You're gonna bend your elbows and hold opposite elbows up overhead. If this starts to happen, if the pelvis tilts, if the ribs flare, just bring your arms out in front of you as much as you need until you can find that work through the midline. You've got a little bend in the back knee. We're gonna do this 5 times. Take an inhale. Exhale, tap the back knee down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. 4, 3, 2, last one. Give it a nice little tap, work the quads, lift back up. Hands into prayer, warrior 3, shift forwards. So maybe you're able to refine the pose this second round. Maybe you want to add on an arm variation. One-legged Tadasana, lift your torso up, bend the left knee in towards your chest. And then reach your arms out and spin to the left. Pause here. Hug your outer right hip in. Again, find the energetics of this balance, this transition. As you kick the left leg back, you're coming into half moon, extending through the crown of the head. Warrior 2, step all the way back. Extended side angle, either bringing right forearm to your thigh, or you can take your hand to the inside of your right foot. Reach the left arm forwards. Lengthen your tailbone down. And then spiral your right ribs, that's the ribs on the underside here, towards the left. Strong legs, strong feet. Come all the way back up, a warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, inhale, reverse triangle pose, reach up and back. Into plank pose, hands down, step back, plank. Blade edge of left foot, left hand. Vashisthasana, reach the right arm up. Press the floor away from you. Right forearm comes down, forearm side plank, blade edge of right foot, reach the left arm up. Making sure that top hip isn't rolling back. Left forearm down, forearm plank. You'll walk your feet in for dolphin. Keep your shoulders stacked on your elbows, walk your feet in. So either staying here or for this round, if you'd like, lift your right leg up. So we're keeping the hips square. Really strong and active through the right foot. Maybe start to lift up onto the ball of the left foot. Keep the head lifting away from the mat. So hopefully you can start to visualize yourself coming up like you had a helium balloon
tight around your right foot, it would just pull you up and then it will lift your bottom foot away from the floor. Eventually, one day, maybe. Right foot comes back down. We walk the feet all the way back. Sphinx pose, lower your hips down, forearms are still on the floor. And then pull your chest through your shoulders. Maybe circle out through the neck a few times, open and close your jaw. Lower your forehead to the mat. Interlace your fingers back behind you, right thumb on top. Press into your feet. Inhale, curl the head, chest, shoulders up away from the mat. And with all that work of pressing the floor away from you, hopefully this feels like a nice stretch through the front of your shoulders and chest. Release back down. Downward facing dog. Last side, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, step the left foot forwards, come on up, high lunge position. So again, you're gonna hold opposite elbows up overhead. This time change the wrap so it'll be the awkward direction. Little bend in the back knee. We do this 5 times. Take an inhale. Exhale, tap the back knee down. And lift, tap. 4, 3, 2, last one. Coming all the way back up, hands into prayer, warrior 3. Shift the weight into your left foot, lift the right leg up. So hopefully you're starting to feel the relationship between what happens when you lift your leg, right? So you want to try and coordinate these movements in your body. Maybe the arms are reaching out or forwards. One-legged Tadasana, draw your right knee into your chest, pause. Reach your arms out and then spin to the right. So keeping your limbs active and strong, start to extend the right leg back for half moon. Warrior 2, step all the way back. Extended side angle, Utthita Parshvakonasana. Left forearm to thigh or hand to the floor. Reach your right arm forwards. Wrap the pinky finger down. Reach from your right fingers to the outer edge of your right foot. Scoop your left ribs towards the right. Strong legs, warrior 2. Straighten through the front leg, inhale, flip the palm, reach up and back, reverse triangle pose. Hands to the floor, plank pose. Side plank, blade edge of right hand, right foot, reach the left arm up. Keep the left hip stacked on top of the right. And I know maybe the shoulders are starting to get a little tired now. Left forearm down, making sure the fingers are facing forwards. Spin onto the blade edge of the left foot, reach your right arm up. Use your breath. Right forearm down into dolphin pose, walking the feet in. Lift the hips up, shoulders stay stacked on top of the elbows. Feel a little bit of puffiness or rounding through the upper back. Either stay here or reach your left leg up. Really kick the left foot towards the ceiling. Lift it a little bit higher and perhaps shift forwards onto the ball of the right foot. That little helium balloon analogy worked for you. Imagine it's wrapped around the left foot and it's just gonna pull it up towards the ceiling. Left foot back down, walk the feet out, forearm plank. Sphinx pose, lower the hips. Pull your chest through your shoulders. Couple of deep breaths here. Release your forehead to the floor. Interlace the fingers back behind you, left thumb on top. Press into your feet, lift head, chest, and shoulders up. Maybe lifting the feet up. Keep spiraling your inner thighs towards the ceiling and squeeze your butt. And release, downward facing dog. Lower your knees and come down onto your shins. I'm a little sweaty. So we're gonna work, I have a little bit of playtime with Pincha Mayurasana here. If you're like, no Jess, I'm done, my shoulders tapped out, take a child's pose, have some rest, take a twist, a back bend, you're done. If you wanna keep working, grab one of your blocks. And what I want to point out here with the block is that I like to use or think of this block more as a marker or a blocker rather than a prop for you to squeeze. So the prop is down on the mat and you're framing it with your thumb and index finger like so. And the block is just there really so that when we come upside down, as the shoulders have to develop strength, it might be that you start to collapse into the lower back and then the hands cross in front of one another like this. And then your head's pulling towards the floor and it's all kind of unraveling from the get-go. So the prop is there so that your hands stay shoulder width distance apart. And then you really want to press down firmly through your hands, right? That's going to be what helps to balance your weight when you're upside down. They're taking the space of your feet, so you need to use them. No floppy hands, no cupped hands, no little mittens or weird little things like that, right? So spread the fingers, pressing down into your finger pads. What I'm not doing with this block is squeezing the life out of it, right? Because when you squeeze the block a lot, it's actually gonna activate your internal rotators in the shoulders, which you don't want to happen, right? So it's there mainly just to stop this action from happening, but please don't squeeze it or grip on it like your life depends on it. Okay, so you're gonna find your way into dolphin pose. Maybe you're using the prop. And we're gonna set up like we did just a few moments ago. So pressing down through the hands. And then we're gonna lift the right leg. No jumping, right? You're gonna feel this coordination and shift within your body so that as the right leg lifts up more, you're lifting up onto the ball of the left foot. And it's like this action that happens automatically, basically. It's this movement as the right leg lifts, the left leg is also pulled away from the floor. So rather than thinking of your right leg doing one action and your left leg doing a different action, keep them coordinating together, right? So if my right leg is lifting, my left leg, it's pulling into the midline and lifting at the same time, right? And it may not be that you come all the way up. Maybe you're just getting this little sense of what it will look or feel like, right? So it could just be these little floats up. So think of your body working all together here as one. Just like when you were in those shapes like Warrior 3 or Half Moon, you could feel that one leg might be reaching in one direction and another might be grounding down, but they're working together to help keep you light and connected. All right, so we'll change sides. If you feel like, you know what, you don't really need that block, then maybe get rid of it. So we'll set up dolphin pose, shoulders stacked on elbows, kind of a little bit of rounding through the upper back as you press the floor away from you. Reach the right leg up. Now think of your right leg and left leg being connected. And as the right leg lifts up, you're onto the ball of the left foot, and maybe you start to lift up. And it might be that this side is a little more challenging for you. It's not my best side. Maybe you're taking just some of those little movements, micro movements of what would it take. So don't confuse coming into the full pose with, I guess, the little steps along the way. So even if it takes you months or years to learn to lift that bottom foot, it doesn't mean that your body's not learning along the way, picking up tools. And then you never know when one day your body's able to put it all together and you find your way up. And releasing back down. Whew. So after all of that work in the shoulders and upper back, we're going to stretch out the chest now. Come down onto your belly. Cactus your right arm so that your elbow's in line with the shoulder. Bring your right cheek to the mat. My left hand's on the mat, and then I'm going to roll to my right side. And then I can always step the left foot back behind me. So it's important to counter our moves in this practice, particularly if you spend a lot of time really working in quite a specific way towards a pose. Say it's handstand or forearm stand or headstand. A lot of those actions are very repetitive. And so that we don't build imbalance in our body, it's important to counter the poses. If you have a little more time available to you, you can spend extra time here. Otherwise, we're going to come back through center and change sides. So left arm set up in a cactus position, rolling onto the left side, maybe stepping the right foot back. And as we begin to wind down, as the practice begins to come to a close, try to stay connected to your breath or to your intention. It's easy to want to skip some of these slower poses, particularly if you're really enthusiastic and love to do all the hard work all of the time. So really do try and spend this time in a little bit of a slower practice after all of the challenging work that you've just done. Not only is it important for your body, but it's important for your nervous system. And ultimately, we want to bring about a sense of balance. Coming all the way back through center. If you're finished with that, we're going to roll straight over onto our backs. You're going to either set up for bridge or wheel pose. So some of you will come straight into wheel. I'm going to talk you through bridge. Feet are hips width distance apart. Hold onto the outer edges of your mat. Press down into your feet to lift the hips up. Wriggle your shoulder blades closer together. And then either stay here or interlace your fingers underneath you. And perhaps rather than thinking of this as a back bend, think of it more as a way to stretch the front of your body. Lowering your hips all the way back down. If you have time, you might repeat that another 1 or 2 rounds. Maybe you're going to take a twist or a happy baby. I'm going to leave you guys here, but do take some time to finish off your practice, whatever feels best in your body, and then take a nice, relaxing Shavasana, really allowing your body to reap the benefits of your practice. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me.
Namaste.